Cthulhu Reborn presents Starlight on the Gutter. Part 3.
So what's the general plan for how people are going to spend their day on performance day? You know that there's a morning rehearsal. It's supposed to be for the actors, but what's the general plan of how you'd like to spend that day?
Well, I imagine I'll have to keep making sure that the theater's in running shape.
Yes, there's lots to do. I guess it's a big night logistically, getting everything ready to go. I guess the actors are committed for a good part of it, but is there anything you want to try to squeeze into the day while you're, otherwise we can just skim over bits of it? Although, interestingly enough, one of the things that you do notice, the actors all arrive for the morning rehearsal at 10 o'clock and Ogilvy turns up and he looks terrible. He looks so disheveled. He looks like he hasn't slept all night. It looks like he's at his wit's ends and he's kind of like pulling his hair out kind of thing. And he kind of like gets you to start and you get a little bit into the rehearsal and he says, I have things I need to do. You finish the rehearsal. He hands you over to one of the assistant directors to run through the thing. And he actually kind of like leaves almost straight away. He looks like he's in a state of extreme anxiety and nervousness, which is very different to how he was last night. But you can still...
Does it seem like an extension of his drunkenness, maybe, or...?
Probably not. It looks like he just seems incredibly disheveled, which is, it was a big night, but not just the rumpled clothes and wild hair. It just seems like, uncharacteristically, he just doesn't seem to be able to get it together today. It's like normally seems very well organized and very precise about everything he does, but he seems incredibly distracted and really overall feels like the whole production's a bit sloppy. Nothing seems to be kind of working the way that it has on previous days, and just the whole people's timing in the production, the actors and the just things happening, it just doesn't it feels like an extension of his distemper is actually affecting the whole thing, and that continues even after he leaves abruptly, which is a bit disturbing, considering that in a few hours' time you will be opening to a absolute full house. So he storms off.
Not going to intercept him before he storms off?
You can intercept him. He just seems really jittery and nervous. Oh, what is it, Alexander? It's like my brain is abuzz with things that need to happen. It's like,
are you ready for this evening?
Oh,
it's your big night.
I was born ready. Nothing can stop us from making this amazing piece of art. But I have things I need to attend to today. There are things out of joint that need to be made good before tonight.
Okay. Yeah, you do seem not your usual self.
Thank you for the observation, he says, and pushes past you.
You'll never work in this town again.
Rachel, your morning obviously is a little bit different because you're starting at your home. Can I get you to make an int times 5 roll? So just click the int button.
No, I failed.
Okay. All right.
Too early.
Too early. Okay. So what are you doing with this playing card thing?
Oh, that thing. Well, maybe I will. It's kind of interesting looking. I wonder if anybody would know anything about it.
As you are contemplating that, and you've had your morning kippers and eggs with Tristan calls you over to the window and says, "Oh, have a look at that." That's because you're on your first floor in your townhouse, looking down out on the street. Tristan seems to be looking at something. He says, "What is that fellow doing?" And you can see down the other end of the street, there seems to be a figure. You can just see at the distance of your eyesight. It seems to be meandering along the street, almost like a bloodhound sniffing, moving in this zigzaggy kind of, and even onto the road occasionally, and then crossing over, and then it just seems to be like following a scent or something. It seems very odd.
How strange.
Can you make a search roll? It's quite at a distance away, but you might be able to see who it is. No. It just looks this figure dressed in a sort of a cape and looks a little bit familiar, but nobody you can put your finger on right at the moment.
A cape? Seems rather extravagant for this time of the morning.
Well, it is raining.
Oh, well, it's
But
London. It's always raining.
This is true, especially in January.
Oh, well,
He seems to be heading towards your house down the street, though. So it won't be long before you can see who it is.
Oh, well then. Maybe I will just peek out the window or lean out and...
You can see after a moment, the figure is definitely Jonathan Ogilvy. And he seems to have this sort of weird kind of look on his face, and he kind of is behaving like it's really odd. And people are staring at him in the street, but he seems to always be, his eyes are squinted, and he's kind of like just trying to almost hear or scent or something. But he's following this sort of weird meandering path. It's generally heading in your direction, but it's not directly.
Well, he's obviously ill or something. Tristan, that's the director of the play we're supposed to see tonight.
Looks like a madman to me.
Well, I just wonder, he was drinking absinthe last night, two-fisting it. I wonder if the wormwood's gone to his head.
Wouldn't surprise me. Turns all those Frenchmen absolutely balmy. Well, he seems to be headed this way. You can have a word to him if you want.
Do you think it's quite safe?
Not with that look at his face.
Well, then I'm not going to let him in.
No, nor should you. But he seems to be heading towards your door, though, down the street.
I ring for our butler, and I'm just like, if anybody rings, we're not in.
All right, no problems. About 4 or 5 minutes later, there is a rap at the door, and you hear this sniffing kind of sound. I guess you're kind of close enough to actually be able to hear what's going on. And your manservant goes to the door and opens the door, and Ogilvy is standing there with this kind of bizarre, almost bestial expression on his face. He looks like a disheveled maniac. And he says, I need to have it back. She needs to return it to me. And he says, I'm sorry, my good man, whoever you are, perhaps you should try down at the hospital for treatment. I'm afraid the doctor is not able to dispense medications to madmen from his home. You must go through the proper channels. And he says, there is no time. Your butler shoos him off, but he just goes back onto the street and just sort of stands outside the house, just balefully staring at the house and sniffing.
What time is it? Shouldn't he be at the theater?
Yes, it's after rehearsals are supposed to have already started, so it's sort of 11 o'clock in the morning.
Jeeves, was he quite altogether?
No, milady. He was most distempered, I would say, and perhaps slightly maddened.
Do you think we should call a constable?
Well, Tristan seems to think maybe that might be a bit precipitate. Some of the people that come asking him for prescriptions would probably prefer not to have had too many police attending the same doorstep of the same day. We did a bit of discretion.
Take a look at this card.
Mm-hmm.
I'm torn between tearing it up and sailing it down to him. I think I will burn it.
So you actually go to the grate. There's already a fire going because it's winter. You throw the playing card into the grate, but the strangest thing, it just sits there. It doesn't actually catch a light at all. The rest of the wood around it, all of the other things in the fire grate, the coal if you've got coal, that all kind of burns with a fierce kind of fire. But this thing, it just nothing.
I'll grab the poker and fish it out. Is it even warm?
No, not at all.
Can I tear it up?
You try, and as much as it just feels like cardboard, but every time you tear it, it actually literally will not tear. In the meantime, you can see Ogilvy out on the streets says, I hear you, it calls. I hear what you are. You must return what you have taken, whoever you are.
Whoever I am. All right. I go down, I fling open the door, and I'm just like, Mr. Ogilvy, what are you doing out here in such a manner?
You must return it. You've been lurking around my theatre for days, and it's now you've stolen my property. What is the meaning of it? You must return.
I stole something from you.
Yes, you must return it now. It's important.
It's important. Like your play, aren't you supposed to be at rehearsal?
Well, the actors are rehearsing now. It's like I need to attend to this. If we can't do this in a civilized way, then we'll have to do it in another way.
Have you been civil? Accusing me of theft?
Very well, but you are warned. And he strides off up the street. A few minutes later, you can see he sort of comes back. He positions himself opposite you, opposite your house on the other side of the street, behind some cabs or something that are parked on the street. And you can faintly hear a sound of singing.
Oh, good Lord, he's off his rockers. Oh, do I give it to him? Do I don't want it. It's weird.
Can you make a power roll to get his stats up to? So, what did you get? You got a success, and he got a success, but he got a higher success. It's a higher number. So, you suddenly feel this sense of skin of your hands are suddenly alive with this fire, this feeling of burning. You feel like your skin is just, you can actually look down and your right hand, the actual skin is just bubbling on the surface of it.
I shriek.
Yes. You can roll me 3D. Well, yes, sanity roll. And also a 3D4 roll as well. Oh, okay.
well, it doesn't.
Well, your sanity's fine. 3D4.
3D4. Is that right?
Ooh. Yeah, okay. So, let's go with mine because that's a bit nicer. Take 3 points of charisma from your skin just bubbling. And you realize it's also the skin of your face. So it just looks it's ugly kind of skin, kind of burny kind of thing on your face.
Tristan!
So your husband comes and he looks appalled. It's like, what's going on? Did you scold yourself?
I don't know. I run into the bathroom and try to cold water and
Yep. And none of it seems to make much difference. Eventually it stops, but the scarring and whatever from it is remains. In the meantime, about a minute later, you hear a knocking at the front door. And your manservant goes and says, I told you, just be gone with you. And says, tell her she has 5 minutes. And slams the door on the butler.
I go out and I give it to him.
All right. Okay. Says, very wise, very wise.
You are playing at something that you don't understand, I am sure. You are going to... Something bad is going to come of this.
I may say the same to you, good lady. Now, stay away.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Anyway, he seems to be satisfied with having got his playing card back. Right, now I have work to do. I do not have time to waste on the likes of you. He hails a cab and gets in. So what's Bella doing?
I'm going to go to the theater. I think that this play must not go on. Something terrible is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tristan insists that he actually treat your wounds a little bit. So put some, poultice or something on it to try to alleviate some of it doesn't do much, but, he's a doctor. He has to try. But
you love me anyway, dear. Right.
That's right. It's not just for your looks. In the meantime, at the theatre, about the time that the actors are finishing or have just finished the rehearsal run through of the whole play, Ogilvy turns back up at the theatre, and you can tell almost instantly as soon as he walks through, you actually see he's back to his normal composed self. He actually looks calm. He looks collected. And he says, oh, well, good work, people. I feel that we are prepared for this production. Please. Have a good lunch. We shall prepare for the final run. Costumes, lights, everything can be prepared. All is now in place. So what's anyone doing?
I guess just getting ready for the show.
With Ogilvy's encounter with Bella before he left the before he came to the theater, or after he left it?
It's after he left it.
Okay.
Well, you don't know about that yet. About an hour or two later, Bella arrives in a state probably of some distress. The final preparations for the play are going on. It's only a couple of hours until the curtain raises.
I will make my way to see Mr. Alexander, seeing that has some authority might be the best bet.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Alexander, I guess you're in your office?
Yes.
Okay. So, Bella, you can easily find your way there. You've been there before. What do you say to George?
I say, oh my goodness, Bella, what happened? I assume
Yes.
your burns are visible.
Yes.
Mr. Ogilvy,
He burned you?
I believe he did. He came to my house like a madman, demanding that strange playing card back from last night. When I wouldn't give it to him, he started singing. And look at this. I show him my hands. I take the bandages off. I think something very, very tragic is going to go on here.
Where is he now?
He did come back to the theatre, so he's probably somewhere around the place, but you don't know exactly where in the theatre he is right now. He might be in his office.
Do you want to go to his office and see if we can set things right? Was Tristan able to assist you? Was he able to render aid?
But yes, some. The important part is I think something even worse is going to go on here.
From the actions of Mr. Ogilvy?
Yes.
What do you think he's going to do?
I don't know. I don't know what he's capable of anymore.
So just to understand, I mean, you gave him the playing card, and that's when he started to sing, and he
at first I refused
the
to
torch?
give it to him, and he said I would regret it. And look at me.
I see that. I mean, that's just terrible. I mean, have you been to the constables?
Well, thank you. It's terrible. I'm disfigured and it's terrible. That's not the important part. What is going on? I'm hysterical.
Please have some cognac. You wait here. I'm going to go see if he's in his office.
I will take that.
And do I have anything? I'm obviously not going to have a weapon in my office, but anything kind of heavy.
Oh, you probably still have that prop sword that you picked up the other night. I think you probably would have dropped it down there, so you can have that if you want.
Okay. I'm going to head down to Ogilvy's office.
Well, interestingly, as you just come out of the corridor, you can actually hear that there's a door. His door's just closing. So he's actually just left his office and he seems to be heading down towards the stage or the royal box. You're not sure. So he's basically coming out of this door here as you're kind of coming into the corridor. So you can see he's either heading out to here or maybe intended to go here, which is the way through to this sort of the stage.
Ogilvy, stop.
What's theatre owner? It's like, what are you bothering me with now? It's like we have important preparations. So, and by the way, you need to be in your positions for your role on this production. The rest of us are all prepared.
What did you do to Bella?
To who?
Isabella Rose Smith. You burned her?
Look, there are things that are important and there are things that are in motion and that there are things that must transpire. We don't have time to worry about the things that are at the sidelines. There is far too much at stake. This production must be a success, I think you will agree. It's in your interests, it's in my interests, it's in Oscar's interests. In a few hours' time, or maybe only just an hour's time now, people will team through those doors and they need to be shown the purest decadent art that we can possibly manage for them. There's no time for dealing with peripheral concerns.
No. What did you do to Bella?
Okay, so can you make me a power roll?
Okay. Does it automatically multiply by 5? Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he reaches into his pocket and he just says to you with a commanding voice, step aside. And you feel this almost this compulsion to do what he says because some reason that you can't comprehend. It actually feels like your feet are almost directed by what he said, but you manage to just stave it off, but it's a near thing. And he basically turns and heads out towards the royal box and says, there's no time.
Stop, Ogilvy, stop.
He just ignores you and heads forward.
I'm going to yell for Bella.
I poke my head out, just like, ugh.
He's heading to the stage. He tried to do something to me. I'm not sure what it was. I mean, he ordered me to step aside, and I almost felt like I had to.
I
So
fear that something
I-
terrible is afoot.
I feel you are. I think you're onto something. He's wrong.
Hugh and Rose, what are you doing in the meantime?
We're getting close to showtime.
Yeah, it's only about an
can
hour
you
or
hear
so.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm probably in the dress rehearsal like that, getting ready.
Okay. So actors are sort of busy getting ready the last minute stuff. In the meantime, George, Alexander and Bella are confronting Ogilvy. He seems to have done his bit of going into the royal box and seems to have come back out almost instantly and is now about to push past you, George, just to say, out of my way.
I
The
push
show-
him back into the royal box.
Oh, okay. Are you going to do some unarmed combat?
Okay, or strength, whatever it
Fight.
takes.
Fight.
Unarmed combat.
You've got a sword. He's not unarmed.
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay,
if I'm,
you can use
Yeah, then
melee
I'm
if you want.
then I'm going to open up with the sword
Okay.
to try to, not to beat him soundly about the head, but to block his path at first.
Yep. All right. Can I get another power from you? From you as well.
Okay. There you go.
So he says in a commanding voice, drop it and stand aside. And this time you feel like you can't resist the voice. You actually do what he says. You drop the sword and let him go back out onto the stage. He says, be ready in time for opening performance. It is only half an hour's time. And you can just feel inside you that you want to do what he says. In the meantime, Bella, you see them go into the royal box, about to go into a bit of a fight, and then Ogilvy just steps out by himself.
I let him go past.
Mhm.
And I'm going to go search the royal box. Why did he go in there? Did he leave that evil card there?
Okay.
Now,
Yep.
if I remember correctly, Bella, you saw him come in there before, right?
No, Rose saw him go in there before.
Rose did? Okay.
In fact, she searched it once already.
No, Rose did. I didn't. I don't know that I even know
Yeah,
that
I
she
didn't.
searched it or saw that.
Yeah, and
Well,
I didn't find anything, but like I also failed my roll, so
But Rose doesn't know that.
true.
I was successful. at
Yeah,
searching.
Rose definitely. Rose did not find anything. Say that.
Okay, so Isabella, she does a much better job at searching the royal box, but what she finds is there's kind of like a spot that looks like a secret hiding place at the back of one of the stalls or the chairs that are in there. It looks like the sort of place that might have until recently had something, maybe a book-sized kind of thing in there, but it's currently empty.
And I think back, and I saw Ogilvy at the foot of the trap door, also being furtive. And now I wonder if he's hiding cards or collecting cards.
In fact, now that you think about it, when Ogilvy pushed past you in the corridor, you think he actually was holding a book, in fact, and it was about the size of the hiding space that you've just found. It had this weird symbol on the front cover of it now that you think about it, which didn't make much, impact at the time. But now that you think about it, maybe that's something that he actually retrieved from this spot.
Is the royal box going to be filled this evening?
George doesn't believe so.
I don't believe that Her Majesty is coming by. Or any of the family.
Yes, like Prince Albert?
PAV?
No. Yeah. Oh.
Now, what did you find behind in that cubby hole?
Nothing. There was nothing there. But I think that Ogilvy had a book when he brushed past me.
So do you think he took it from here?
He must have. If he didn't have it when he went in and he had it when he came out, he must have.
Then why is he hiding it here? What is the significance of hiding it here? I don't know.
I don't know.
Perhaps we're getting in the weeds with that question, when the more important question is, how do we get it away from him?
I don't know.
You start hearing noises from the auditorium from the front of the theatre, which sounds like maybe the doors to the general public have been thrown open. And
So, okay, looking out from the royal box.
Yep.
Can we see Ogilvy?
Not at the moment, no.
And how high up is the royal box?
So the royal box there's a cross section, I think, on one of the pictures, but it's not that much higher than the stage.
So that, I guess that would be
Yeah.
the royal box.
So the royal box is here, and it's sort of just at that sort of, just at the above the, it's like a half height up from the above the stage, enough to people to be able to see down onto
one.
it.
So, I have a question. From what I've seen of this play so far, is it the most decadent amusement?
Well, I guess it's a matter of artistic opinion, but I think certainly you would probably see it as being typical of that. I don't know what you would consider pretentious, arty, kind of controversial, art for art's sake, aesthetic thing. It feels quite in keeping with that.
But is it as provocative as he seems to want it to be?
It's not sort of outrageously kind of. It's still obviously the work of Oscar Wilde.
Where is Oscar?
Although there's nobody coming into the auditorium yet, you can definitely start to hear the sounds of an audience or crowd actually in the vestibule, and there's actually a saloon above the vestibule as well, by the way, which is where all the people from the upper tiers have their drinks and whatever before the actual performance starts.
I don't think this is going to end well.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Alexander. This is your theater. I'm sure you need the box office draw, but I feel like this is...
But does the play need its director? If you understand what I'm implying.
In the meantime, I guess the actors are all in the process of preparing to go on.
Where did he go?
Yeah, where is he now?
So, well, that's a good question. You can't see him at the moment.
Let's head down to the stage.
Let's head down to the stage. Okay. Yeah, you can see that there's some last-minute preparations going on in terms of just putting all of the set pieces onto their right marks on the stage. There's a couple of crew, but there's no sign of Ogilvy just at the moment.
Hugh, Rose, have you seen Mr. Ogilvy?
So they've just come out of the dressing rooms in their full costume.
No, I haven't seen him since rehearsal.
I run over and check the cistern.
Yep. Okay.
Bill, are you okay? You look like you were burned.
It was Ogilvy.
He burned you? Should we call the police?
Yes.
Is there a stagehand or something nearby?
If you want to.
Find him.
I'm going to tell the stagehand to call the police because there's been an attack of some sort.
I'm assuming I'm assuming you're going to pick one of the stagehands that's not the sullen ones that Ogilvy brought with him.
Thank you for reminding me. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so one of George's good employees actually says, "Oh, sure, I'll fetch the constable if that's what needs to be doing."
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
As they say, be doing it.
Yeah, be doing it. He disappears with a flea in his ear because, especially if he thinks that that the boss is actually on his case. All right. Well, it's only 15, or it's probably only 10 minutes till curtain time now.
And I'm just going to call out generally to the stage is who has seen Ogilvy?
Not many people have seen him since your kind of altercation in fact, I don't think anybody's seen him since when he pushed past Bella. But then they've all been on the stage. So apart from that and the auditorium, they probably wouldn't have seen any of the other parts of the theatre. So he could be anywhere else.
So he pushed past Bella, and I guess he went. Bella, did you see if he went upstairs or down?
I didn't.
Okay, I'm going to check the prop room.
Down in the trap room downstairs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can you throw me a search roll?
Damn it. No.
Okay. Well, you don't see anything amiss. In fact, it's starting to get really quiet down there because all the workers are actually kind of all, basically all the work has been done to prepare everything for the places it needs to be. All of the other actors are all assembling in the wings. It's now only a few minutes until the curtain draws. The crowd is now in the auditorium. They've actually everybody's kind of taken their seats more or less as the last few people are filing in.
Well, I guess the show must go on.
Must it though?
I mean, it's your theater.
Yeah, I mean. But yes, I'm just trying to. Do you think whatever this he's trying to do is hinging to the proper performance of the play? But if you think about it, what really upset him was the dance at that party, correct? At the Yellow Book Club?
He did seem a little bit upset by it.
The dance,
who's
by the way,
performing the dance? Yeah.
Rose is basically performing the dance. That's her big set piece.
I don't see what I don't see what he could be trying to do. I mean, if he burned Bella, he seems to be very mentally unwell.
Well, Rose, how would you like to make an extra quid and get a starring role in the next play we put on here?
I would love that.
Okay.
Because my thing is, I
Screw
want to
up
be
the
I want to be a lead actress. I'm sorry, what?
Screw up the dance.
What?
Just stumble.
I can't do that. Dean, how much would that mess up my acting career on a scale of 1 to 10?
You mean this
I
is
feel the answer is an 11.
This is the first time you've actually been in an opening night of a massive performance in one of the most prestigious West End theatres. I would think pretty significantly, but hey.
Yeah, yeah. Rose looks aghast at him, like basically as if he grew a second head, and then she looks horrified.
Yeah, I understand, Rose. Hugh, one question for Hugh. Hugh, how would you like to make an extra quid and be the headliner in the next play put on here?
So, I also am driven to make it as an actor and to keep life orderly and neat. But I think stopping whatever Ogilvy has planned will play into my third motivation, which is atone for the brutal things I did while in the army. So yes, I will happily stumble at the right time.
Okay.
I would also like to ask George, the sacrificial dagger that we found in the lockbox with the crown. Do you know where that is currently, and is it under lock and key?
It's, as far as I know, in Bella's possession.
Actually, I have
No.
the dagger.
Rose.
Oh no,
yeah.
no, that's right.
Yeah.
Rose has
Yeah,
it.
Bella has the card. I have the dagger.
Okay. Yeah.
I
No,
don't
she
have the
doesn't-
card. I gave it back to Ogilvy. He burned me!
I think that dagger probably plays into whatever Ogilvy has planned, and that needs to not be in his hands no matter what. Or
What
in the
are you
hands of
talking-
anyone he can...
Well, yes, you shouldn't have a dagger. Look what he did to the poor Bella.
And
Okay,
he
so
can compel people to do things, right, George? I mean, we should take.
The dagger should be locked up where no one can get it.
So the reason why,
Hey, give it to them. Throw it in the river.
the reason why I'm laughing is of all the group, I'm the only one who's not seen anything supernatural. So I'm looking at all three of them like they've grown a second head. Like, poor Bella, I think you're in shock, my dear. Maybe you should have a sit down.
there is also no time. The curtain is just about to go up.
So Hugh,
All right.
when it is time for the dance of the seven veils, okay, you are to
All right.
dance the hopak, the classic Cossack dance.
All right. All right, scripts, everybody. It's time.
Rose thinks you've all lost your mind.
All right. Rachel, do you want to read the part of Herodias again? Everybody else, we're going through the script from the beginning. So, out of you guys, who's got the highest POW?
Pow?
Only a 10 here.
I have a 16.
It's pretty good.
I have a 13.
Okay. So, can you make one for me, Joe? Okay. Cool.
Wait, did I fail that? Oh, I made it. Okay, I thought that was true.
That's good.
I was just shocked with an 80. I was like, how did I fail that?
Okay, so the play begins. The scene opens on a great terrace in the palace of Herod, set above the banqueting hall. Some soldiers are leaning on the balcony. To the right is a gigantic staircase. To the left, at the back, an old cistern surrounded by a wall of green bronze. Moonlight. The young Syrian says,
Yes, how beautiful is the Princess Salomé tonight?
"Look at the moon. How strange the moon seems. She is like a woman rising from a tomb. She is like a dead woman. You would fancy she was looking for dead things."
She is like a woman who is dead. She moves very slowly. How beautiful is the Princess Salomé tonight?
You are always looking at her. You look at her too much. It is dangerous to look at people in that fashion. Something terrible may happen. Offstage, the voice of Jokanan, which I'm also doing. "After me shall come another mightier than I. When he cometh, the solitary places shall be glad. They shall blossom like the lily. The eyes of the blind shall see the day. The ears of the deaf shall be opened." The first soldier says, "Make him silent. He is always saying ridiculous things." Can I get an alertness roll from anyone? By the way, while this is going, Bella, where are you? Are you actually, you have a seat in the auditorium if you want to take it, or you can watch from the wings.
Yeah, I think I want to be in the wings.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, look, we're all alert.
Except for William.
Oh, no.
I failed.
Okay. Apart from Hugh, you actually hear a disturbance at the back of the auditorium. It seems like maybe somebody kind of coming in late.
Who is it?
You turn to look, and it looks absolutely like it is Oscar Wilde. The second soldier says, No, he is a holy man. He is very gentle too." First soldier, "Who is he?" Second soldier, "A prophet." First soldier, "What is his name?" Second soldier, "Jokanan." Salome enters the stage.
That's you, Rose.
I will not stay. I cannot stay. Why does the Tetrarch look at me all the while with his mole's eyes under his shaken eyelids? It is strange that the husband of my mother looks at me like that. I know not what it means. In truth, yes, I know.
Slave enters from the wings. "Princess, the Tetrarch prays you to return to the feast."
I will not go back.
The voice of Jokanan offstage. "Rejoice not, thou land of Palestine, because the rod of him who smote you is broken. For the seed of the serpent shall come forth from a basilisk, and that which is born shall devour the birds." You notice that suddenly all the normal chatter that is, in an audience, just the background sort of noise, has just suddenly disappeared. The whole auditorium is just silent. Continue.
What is the audience doing?
Still sitting there. It's just that absolutely, well, they're just staring up, I guess, enraptured. It was hard to tell because it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Salomé,
Who was that who cried out?
the prophet princess.
This prophet, is he an old man?
No, princess, he is quite a young man.
What a strange voice. I'll speak with him.
I fear it is impossible, Princess. The Tetrarch does not want anyone to speak to him.
I will speak with him. Bring forth the prophet.
We dare not, princess.
You will do this for me, will you not, Nerebath? You know that you'll do this thing for me. And tomorrow when I pass in my litter by the bridge of the idol buyers, I will look at you through the muslin veils. I will look at you, Nerebath. It may be that I will smile at you.
It's you, Chad.
Oh, I know.
Sorry. You feel that you actually are compelled to move the play forward still.
Let the prophet come forth. The Princess Salomé desires to see him.
Oh, how strange the moon looks. You would think that it was the hand of a dead woman who is seeking to cover herself with a shroud. A search roll. Anybody on stage?
Search.
I think it's everybody, yeah.
Everybody
made that.
made it? Okay.
Yeah.
You spot off to the side, Ogilvy has come into the stage wings, probably the opposite side to Bella. He seems to have just one of the prop swords in his hand.
I'm gonna look to see if the police have arrived yet.
They have not. Continue on. So the prophet comes out of the cistern. Salome looks at him and steps slowly back.
How
Sweet
wasted
fancy
he is.
Moses, he was in the hole.
We can mess with this play if we want to.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure you actually did that. I think you just did that. You shouted that out.
Yeah, you said I had to carry the play forward, but I'm
Yeah.
still moving it forward.
Okay, well, all right. Well, but strangely enough, though, Rose, you find that even with the distraction, you actually still feel that you need to continue the play. So, in fact,
yeah, Rose has no reason to not continue it at the moment, other than the fact, unless like, what's his name is, you know what I mean, is like obviously threat.
You're looking like he's just trying to destroy your performance at the moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna glare at him and be like, how wasted he is. He's like a thin ivory statue. He's like an image of silver. I'm sure he's chaste as the moon is. His flesh must be cool like ivory. I would look closer at him.
Do not stay here, Princess. I pray you, do not stay here.
Jokanan says, "Who is this woman who is looking at me? I would not have her look at me. Wherefore doth she look at me with her golden eyes under her gilded eyelids? I know not who she is. I do not wish to know who she is."
I am Salam, daughter of Herodias, princess of Judea.
"Back, daughter of Babylon.
Speak again, Jokana. Thy voice is wine to me.
Get thee behind me. I hear in this place the beating of the wings of death." And you know what? Anybody that makes an alertness test?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. You know what the
Nailed
weird thing
it,
is? Everybody apart from Hugh can actually hear a fluttering sound somewhere in the auditorium, maybe like loose papers or something like that. And you can also feel a cool, musty air washing over you.
Jokana, I am a Morius of thy body. Thy body is white like the snows that lie on the mountains, like the snows that lie on the mountains of Judea and come down into the valleys. Thy mouth is like a band of scarlet on a tower of ivory. Thy mouth is redder than the feet of the doves who haunt the temples and are fed by priests. There is nothing in the world so red as thy mouth. Let me kiss thy mouth.
"Never, daughter of Sodom, touch me not."
Princess, do not speak such words to him.
I will kiss thy mouth, Jokanan.
Princess, do not speak such things. I cannot suffer them. Princess, princess. Ah!
The young Syrian kills himself with the prop sword and falls between Salomé and Jochanaan. Jochanaan turns and goes back down into the cistern. Now, intelligence times 5 roll, anybody. Yep.
Can I get to the other side of the stage?
Only
Just
by
run
running
across.
run across it. You can
I'm
see
just
that.
about there. Yeah.
You can see that, strangely, the pool of blood that is now underneath. I'm assuming, George Alexander, you took a fall as you were instructed to. There seems to actually be real blood. It's not your blood necessarily, but there's actually a pool of real blood that you're lying in now. And it doesn't look like prop stuff at all.
Does the intelligence roll mean it looks real, or is it just only him that's noticing that?
Or anybody that made the int times 5 roll can tell that it's actually
Yeah, I
not.
didn't notice it.
It's actually, anybody that made it is actually a SAN roll as well. It's 1 or 1d6, and this is sanity from violence. So, Rose, you take 1 point of sanity. Hugh, you take 1d6. Okay, 2. And you can also tick one of those boxes for violence underneath you on your character sheet, because you've basically lost sanity but not gone insane.
Right.
So
in the mean-
I think that
You'd had another thought, Bella? What's
I want to find the electrical box. I want to turn off the lights.
okay? It's probably downstairs in the trap room. Do you want to go back down there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, you're over that side of the stage, so that's okay. You can go back. So you're going down under the stage. That's good. So where were we?
I think that triggers my hysterical blindness.
Okay, that's your 2 points. Unless you want to somehow project it onto a bond to somehow hold something in one of your bonds is so important to you in life that you can actually kind of like stave off the madness by invoking them somehow.
I am invoking the St. James Theatre troupe because I need to push through this for the entire troupe.
Okay, all right. Well, let me pull up the rules and remind myself of how that works. Using bonds to repress insanity. So basically, you lose 1d4 willpower points, and if you've still got 1 willpower point left at the end of that, which you will, you could then describe how the bond might help your protagonist keep it together and reduce the bond by that 1d4 as well. So just make a 1d4 roll. Okay, so 2. So you lose 2 off of your willpower. You lose 2 from the bond. Then you attempt to make a SAN roll. If you succeed, your protagonist suppresses the insanity, so it kind of gives you another chance to roll it. Otherwise, you've just sacrificed it in vain. Oh, sorry about that.
I sacrificed it in vain.
So suddenly you can't see anything, but you're still feeling compelled to actually continue on with the play, strangely, but you can't see anything. Next line. Salomé.
I will kiss thy mouth, Jochanaan. I will kiss thy mouth.
Herod, Herodias, and all the court enter.
Where is Salomé? Where is the princess? Why did she not return to the banquet as I commanded her? I can't see her.
You must not look at her. You are always looking at her.
The moon has a strange look tonight. She is like a madwoman who is seeking everywhere for lovers. She is naked too. The clouds are seeking to clothe her nakedness, but she will not let them. She shows herself naked in the sky. Pour forth my wine. Salomé, come drink a little wine with me, wherever you are.
Rose will pause for a second, like confused, like, I am not thirsty, Tetrak.
Lo, the time is come. That which I foretold has come to pass.
Bid him be silent. I will not listen to his voice. This man is forever vomiting insults.
Do you not see your daughter? How pale she is? I don't.
What
is it?
Under my breath to him, what are you doing?
What is it to you if she is pale or not? Over this poor actress.
Never have I seen her so pale.
You must not look at her.
Okay, so at this point, Everybody actually smells this unpleasant odor of cloying sweetness coming from the audience wafting onto the stage. You can hear more rustling at the back of the theatre. And you think you can see, except for Hugh, if you're looking out, there's the outlines of a pale, cadaverous form is just floating above the audience, staring at you out of the shadows. Everybody except Hugh makes a sand test or lose 1d3. Nothing if you make it.
I'm down in the basement.
But you don't see it either.
Well, 1d3 you said?
Okay.
I lost 2.
And that was from unnatural, so you don't get to tick a box. What about you, George? You failed and lost 1. Okay, cool.
Now Rose is starting to wonder.
Yeah. Jokanan's voice off stage. In that day, the sun shall become black like the sackcloth of hair, and the moon shall be like blood, and the stars of the heavens shall fall upon the earth.
Dance for me, Salomé.
I do not desire to dance, Titrak.
Salomé, daughter of Herodias. Dance for me.
Do not dance, my daughter.
Dance for me, I beseech you. If you dance for me, you may ask of me what you will, and I will give it to you, even unto half the kingdom.
Okay.
Will you indeed give me what's... Oh,
It's okay. Can Bella give me she's kind of going around the basement trying to find this electrical stuff. Now, what skill does she have that would be relevant to that? It'd be a search unless you can find something that is more to do with maybe search or mechanical knack, whichever you'd prefer.
Oh, I'm going to go with search since I have no mechanical knack. Yeah!
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, you think you have found the electrical box.
All right. I'm assuming
Okay.
it's knob and tube, so I could just start popping out knobs.
Probably could if you wanted to.
Blowing circuits. Left and right.
Are you going to pull everything out? Okay. So on the stage, some of the stage lights start going out. It's a little bit random, but strangely enough, though, those of you who are actors still feel compelled to actually continue on unless you wanted to try to actually break free from the momentum of the play. Something you could try?
I would like to try.
Okay.
I think at this point Rose will also, because I think now she hasn't experienced anything supernatural yet, but since they're all talking about something supernatural and now she's seeing it, I think now she's maybe starting to believe them.
So we're talking a power times 1, given the way things are at the moment, to actually break free.
Okay.
Give it a go, though. So that's not for Rose. Oh, yeah, George can. Not for Bill. Okay, so George, for the next few minutes, you're your own man. The rest of you basically are kind of still stuck in the momentum of this play. So where were we up to? So,
will you indeed give me whatsoever I asked, Tetrak?
Everything, even half the kingdom.
You swear, Tetrak?
I swear it, Salomé.
So what
My
are you doing?
daughter.
So what are you doing in the meantime, George? Now that you actually feel like you've actually got some agency back from this play, you're still lying in a pool of blood.
Time.
Still lying in a pool of blood. Okay. Cool.
I am.
All right. Sorry, Herodias.
Do not dance, my daughter. Sorry. My daughter, do not dance.
Ah, look at the moon. Has she become as red as blood? The prophet prophesied truly. Did he not prophesy that the moon would become red as blood?
Right, and now at this point, what is supposed to happen is a red spotlight is supposed to go onto the backdrop painting of the moon above the lake. But obviously, that does not happen because you're sort of in almost pitch blackness. It's not completely. Every now and again, more and more lights are going out as the circuits get pulled. But so there is no spotlight. However, one other thing does happen at this point, though. All of you get surprised by this sudden sound of movement, and you look around you and the side sets, all of those wing sets, have this sudden noise, something moving in a metal track or something like that. And you suddenly look around and you can vaguely see through what light is actually there that there's these peacock feathers that have been shot out of like little hidden compartments behind the set. And what it does is kind of breaks the momentum of the play a bit, which gives you guys all another chance to make your power times 1 rolls.
Okay.
And I'll give you a plus 20 bonus on your power as well. So
That's a
that'd
critical
be
failure.
yeah. So that would be a success for you, Blind Hugh, I think.
Yes.
Those of you who are still going, so Jokanan, who is this who cometh from Edom, who shineth in the beauty of his garments?
It's
who
the queen!
walketh mighty in the greatness? Why is the raiment stained with
The
scarlet?
queen!
Let us go
It's
with
the
it.
queen!
The voice of that man maddens me.
So as you're saying that, there is actually the sound of snapping bones can be heard from the cistern below the stage.
Oh.
And you hear a scream from down there somewhere. Now, Bella, you probably can see something. In fact, you actually get this sudden burst of light below the stage as something sort of manifests out of the air in the cistern. Are you going to go have a closer look? This horrible pallid light just seemed to wink into existence. It can't be electrical because you've pulled out all of the...
Yeah, there can't be any light. What could it be? Yes, I stumble towards it. in my
Okay. Sanity roll, thank you.
It's always more fun this way.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't
All right.
bother me.
I'll take one anyway. But what you actually see, I'll describe it to you. So Miles Jamison, the actor that plays Jokanan, is clearly been horribly disemboweled by a creature. This thing it's about the size of a person, but it's a sort of a patchwork thing stitched together from lots of different parts. So it's sort of a ape-like body with an insectoid head and an owl-like razor-sharp talon.
I think I scream.
Creepy.
I scream, and I mean, I've been hanging out at the theater. I know I haven't hung out with this particular dude, but I just start pummeling it with its fists. I close my eyes and start just wailing at it.
Okay. Up on the stage, Herodias gave her line to Herod. Now, Herod, you actually don't need to do this line. No, you broke free.
I broke free, and I'm going to... So I'm blind, but I presumably know the stage well enough to know if I'm facing the audience or not.
Yep.
Like, just from rehearsal. I bellow as loudly as I can. Everyone run. Something has gone terribly wrong. Everyone get out.
And I'm going to run over and drop the curtain.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll take a moment to do. But first off, shouting out to the audience. So you stood at the front of the stage and you're shouting at the top of your voice. The audience seems strangely unresponsive, though. You think they're still out there. You can kind of hear this sound of gently fluttering wings is the only thing. So you assume that maybe they're not there, but there's no audience sounds anymore. Maybe they've all gone already. But what everybody else sees that you don't is as you are making your proclaimment, but there's another voice comes out from the back of the stage that says, "The man is right," is the voice of Oscar Wilde. "This play is a travesty. You all good-thinking people must abandon it. It is," and he's sort of walking down the aisle. He's actually tearing pieces of script and throwing it into the air as he walks towards the stage, but it'll take him a while to get there. In the meantime, George, now what would be maybe a dex roll to kind of quickly undo this, unless you can think of another skill?
Let's see. So it'd be dex times 5?
Yep.
Yeah, because the other option is, but the prop sword is dull, so that's not going to do me much good. Did that show up? Oh, no.
Okay. So it's obviously you can still do it, you just can't do it quickly. It's kind of like the ropes and whatever hold the curtains up, whoever the stagehands actually put it, is actually quite well secured, so it's just resisting your attempts. What are you doing, Rose? You're still in the play, so you're probably waiting for a line. So are you waiting for Herod's line, or?
I mean, unless I can skip ahead, but something tells me I can't. I have to follow, though.
Well, I mean, your acting talents kind of kick in, I guess, and you start thinking, well, maybe you need to improvise a line for him.
I am ready, Tetrak.
So
Salute dances the dance of the 7 veils.
Yes. Now, if you're going to dance the dance of the 7 veils, I need you to give me 7 art dance rolls.
7 art dance rolls.
And in the meantime, other people can do stuff while in between them, because this is going to take a few minutes, this dance.
The question is, did Dean remember to give me art dance? Yes, he
I
did.
hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
All right. So I'll make the first one.
Okay.
That's a success.
As Salomé starts her dance, those of you who are actually still able to see and are on the stage, notice that the painted backdrop set seems to subtly warp, and you look around and it's actually no longer the normal scene that you thought that it was before. It actually seems to have two moons, not one.
All right, I'll make my second one, which was a failure.
Okay, so you stumble a bit in the dance. What's everybody else doing?
I'm working on the curtain.
Okay, make another dex roll, see if you can get that one down. Yep, that'll be good.
And can I also shout to Hugh?
Yep, so Hugh still seems to be good for a bit.
Okay, I yell, Hugh, 2 moons, 2 moons, and point at the, like gesticulate toward the backdrop.
Hugh hears that, I guess, but I don't know what you would do with that.
Well, he remembers the painting of the lake, I'm sure, with 2
Absolutely.
moons.
Okay, so one thing though, Hugh, can you make an alertness roll for me though, even though you're blinded? Okay, so even though you can't actually see anything,
Oh, that's why he's blind.
you actually do hear that from above you, there's actually the sound of a very heavy curtain dropping down. So you either better step forward or step backwards, or you're going to be basically hit by this curtain as it falls quickly to the ground. So which way do you go?
So can I stumble backwards into Rose and knock her off her feet?
Well, it might be a bit hard to do given you can't see her. It's probably an alertness maybe to try and hear where she is, maybe?
I figure I would know where her mark would be.
Yeah.
From
I was just going to say
rehearsal.
that. Yeah, I do feel that you would have at least a rough idea. I mean,
But you're in the middle of a dance, so you're moving around a fair bit. But
Yeah.
yes.
Dexterity roll to stumble into her.
if I can make a suggestion, Dean,
Yeah.
maybe in a pose roll, maybe like his alertness or dex versus my dance.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So alertness was a critical. Okay. All right. So he neatly barrels into you and does knock you over.
I'd go ass every tea kettle.
Good work. Okay. After only your third or second dance roll, so you're actually knocked off your feet.
Yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't fall down the cistern.
Wow. Maybe make a luck roll. See where if you fall somewhere
Yeah, I
bad.
was gonna say with that fumble, like I feel that's a
No,
pitch off them.
Just a luck would be
Okay.
fine. So, okay,
Yeah.
you're lucky. You say you just fall onto the stage. Okay, well, that's good. In the meantime, Oscar Wilde is still moving forward, although it's kind of hard for all of you that are still on the stage now because you're sort of cut off from the auditorium. So you can hear the sounds of things vaguely happening because the curtain's actually pretty thick. On your side, though, one thing that is happening is you can kind of hear from below the stage the scream of Bella, and also she sees below the stage this weird alien entity neatly rip the head off of Miles Jockenon and put it onto a silver platter.
I thought I was attacking it.
Okay, well, that's what it's doing as you're attacking it, so go for it. So what'd you get? Oh, fumble. Ouch. So you actually fall over and trip on some stuff on the actual cistern strut work underneath the stage. So you probably miss a turn. The good thing is this thing seems to be ignoring you. It seems to have its own purpose that it's following.
Oh, goody.
So those of you up on stage kind of hear the sounds of just bones being pulled apart below down in the cistern. Sounds of weird sort of fluttering, fluting kind of sounds still come through the curtain from whatever's happening outside as well.
And is the backdrop still changing?
It has changed. It hasn't changed back. Rose actually really wants to get up and continue on her dance unless she can make another power times 1 roll. I'll give you a plus 20 on that though as well. So 16, 36. No. So you actually really want to just continue your dance.
So I want to go up and start dancing. Oh,
Yep.
this time I got
Oh,
circles.
okay. So this is your next part of your dance. Some more stuff in the set changes. The backdrop warps a second time. Instead of a desert scene, it now shows a vast mist-shrouded lake.
Ah, shit.
What's everybody else doing?
Where's
Everybody who is
Ogilvy?
free. Well, actually, you look around and you can see he's still off to the side of the stage. He's actually, you can see his hands are bleeding. It looks like he's used the prop sword to cut himself to bleed, but he's concentrating intently.
I'm going to charge him.
Okay, well, can you get another power roll from you, though?
At what level? 5?
Let's do a power ×1 with a +20 bonus.
So 33 or under. Nope.
Okay, so you can suddenly feel like the momentum of the play is drawing you back into it. So you kind of want to just go and lie back down in your pool of blood. So you're having it really struggling to not do that for the next few minutes. So you just can't actually walk towards him at the moment.
I mean,
unless you can find some way to distract yourself to actually.
I'm just wondering, am I feeling extra melodramatic?
Why do you want to?
I can, of course.
Well, the thing is that your part in the play is actually now finished. It's you're feeling like you want to actually go and do whatever the play wants you to do, like it's a living thing that you're bound up with somehow. One thing you can all hear, though, is the sound of some creature or something feeding the other side of the curtain, just this rending of flesh.
That's not good.
Does that cause a sand roll?
No, not the sound of it, doesn't. No. Rose, are you going to make any more dance rolls?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my fifth, I think. 6.
It's a fail, yep. And one more. Okay, so there's one more change to the set before you finish, and that is as you're dancing, the wig that you're wearing changes from black to being a pure white thing, which has sort of got this iridescent, like a glow lamp kind of look about it. It's very, very odd looking, and everybody who can see it is taken aback. So what are you doing, Bella, below stage? You pick yourself back up. You can see that the weird creature has actually put the head of the dead actor on the silver platter and is actually now walking up the stairs. You can have an attack at it if you want.
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay, so you connect. So let's do some damage. Let's be your 1d3 -1, I guess.
I'm actually kind of thinking of maybe what I want to do is grab it by its legs and like yank it back behind it.
Okay, you can basically do that as a maneuver, and we'll say that pulls it. You've basically pulled its legs out from under it, and it just falls face first down onto the stairs, which it's walking up. And the silver platter, actually clatters to the ground, and you see the decapitated head of Miles Jamison falls straight past your face as it kind of clatters down into the rubbish at the bottom of the cistern.
I begin vomiting.
Yes. So up on stage. So what are you doing, Hugh? Because you actually still have some freedom.
I'm not sure because I can't see, and I don't have a hold on Rose anymore. So maybe I'm in opposed alertness versus her dance again to see if I can grab her ankle.
Well, so she's finished her dance now. So yeah, maybe just an alertness would be fine. Any success is good. You can. Okay.
Nope.
So Hugh is still scrabbling around trying to get Rose. Now, the fact that he's actually doing this, though, is kind of breaking your concentration a bit, Rose. So I'm going to give you another power ×1 roll with a +20 to try to kind of come to your senses. So 16, 36, no. Sorry, not quite good enough.
Nope.
So you're still waiting for the next line of the play to come in. So, however, you don't get that because Herod doesn't actually give you the next line. So, Salomé, you just skip ahead, I guess.
I would that they presently bring me in a silver charger.
And then it's just silence.
The head of Joe Cannon.
Ah, that is well said, my daughter.
Okay, so what is George doing?
Apparently, I'm laying down.
Okay, give me another roll.
Okay.
Because this is basically an effect that he needs to constantly spend points on, so you get a resistance again at each time. So yeah, that would be enough. Suddenly get this moment of clarity again that this play is just off the rails, but it's now no longer a compulsion for you to lie in a pool of blood. You hear these horrible sounds coming from below in the cistern, and you can see Ogilvy is still looking on like a man possessed off to the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge Ogilvy.
Yep, go for it. Give us you're not that far away. He's not going to attack because he's doing his thing, so you get first attack. So melee weapon.
Damn, no.
All right, so you charge at him and actually push him over, but even though you didn't actually do any damage or didn't manage to quite connect with your prop sword, it does seem to have stopped whatever it was that he was doing that's actually holding on to the crew. Or he sort of dodges to the side to get around you, and the playing card kind of falls from his hand. It's actually all bloody now, or blooded, but it falls to the ground. That seems to allow everybody in the play a certain level of freedom. So everybody now can be free to move until something changes.
Am I still compelled to continue the play, or?
Not for the moment.
Okay.
So you suddenly come to your senses, this clattering of things down the bottom of the cistern. George seems to be having some sort of fight with Ogilvy off to the side. Ogilvy's dropped his playing card. All these things are all happening at the same time. Down below stage, what are you doing, Isabella? This thing's kind of on its haunches now, staring at you balefully.
I'm going to grab the silver platter and whack it with it.
Go for it. Melee attack. What was that? That was a success. All right. Cool. Give us a 1d... Oh, let's go 1d4 plus 1.
1d4 plus 1.
Oh, good. 4 points. All right, that's a decent whack of its head. It actually reels backwards, but at the same time, it actually does launch at you with its talons. So I will do an attack for it, which it misses.
Yay.
Okay, up on stage, new round. So everybody's free.
It's pitch black up there.
It's pitch black. That's true, but it doesn't matter to Hugh because he can't see anyway.
I'm gonna scream.
Scream. There is still a faint pale glow that's coming from whatever's on the other side of the curtain, sort of around the perimeter of the curtain. So it's not actually pitch black. Something's happening on the other side of the curtain out in the auditorium. All you can hear is these horrible sounds every now and again. George, I guess it's you.
Okay. I'm going to grab for the playing card.
Yep, okay. So that'd be a posed dex roll. So see if each trying to grab for it as well. So what did you got? You got he got a fail and you got a success. So you grab the card. Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can make an int times 5 roll, you can understand how this thing works. Okay. So you actually realize that this card has the ability to either target one person or a group of people and basically try to compel them to do stuff.
I just have to point it and sit.
You just think it.
I'm going to point it at Ogilvy and command him to undo everything he's done.
Okay. Power roll. Okay. You could feel the powers of the card are reaching out to him. Not quite enough to overcome his mental fortitude, but you can feel that it's actually... He has this weird expression goes over his face like, how dare somebody use this against me? And he lunges for your... Well, actually, he's got his own prop sword already that he's used, so he actually pulls that up and tries to attack you with it. So let me just give him...
It's so dark, right?
It's fairly dark. Now, Ogilvy does actually connect with the knife, though. I'm not going to get a 1d6, though. I reckon it's only a 1d4 with a prop sword. So 2 points of damage to George from the prop sword. As Ogilvy looks at you quizzically. By the way, using the card, you actually lose 1 willpower point and 1 sand point each time you use it.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of light on the stage. You can kind of just... Again, there's this aura of a sickly, pallid light coming around the edges and under the curtains, just enough for you to kind of see what's going on the stage. You can kind of see Hughes blindly flailing around. You can kind of see that George and Ogilvy seem to be in a bit of a melee over to the side. What would you like to do?
Can I try to tear the backdrop down?
Yeah, sure. So you race to the backdrop and you pull on it. So strength roll. It's fairly
Strength roll? Did I
good
make
work.
it? Oh, jeez, I made it.
Yeah, all right. So you pull on this. You actually impress yourself with your feat of strength, and you actually pull on this thing. And the rigging above, you can feel it giving way. And this thing is this heavy backdrop of painted canvas is actually going to fall to the ground. So you want to take a step backwards to stop being hit by it. So
Uh-huh.
in the meantime, though, everybody else is on the stage, and I suppose this is Hugh and in particular because everybody else is busy. You hear the sounds of policemen's whistles, like Bobby's whistles, out in the auditorium. Bella, I guess it's your turn. What are you doing?
Smack this horrible
Smack
thing
it again? Go for it. Another.
Oh.
Close. All right. Well, it's going to again try its talons on you. Oh, it connects this time for 3 points of damage on Bella. So the savage talons of this thing tear at your flesh.
Ah!
Okay. Hugh, what are you doing?
Still blind.
Yes, but that doesn't stop you doing stuff.
So I'm going to, I guess, alertness roll and then see if I can crawl in the direction of. I assume I can hear the fight between George and Ogilvy.
I'm going to be generous and assume that the fact that now the thing that actually caused you to originally go insane is now no longer visible. That means your acute episode of hysterical blindness has been brought to an end, so you can see again. Which it kind of makes sense. What are you going to do? You've suddenly managed to see what's going on the stage, and it kind of is a shocking scene. Most pressing to you is that Ogilvy and George Alexander seem to be in this armed fight over to the side of the stage not far from you.
I'm going to rise up to my feet and charge and try and tackle Ogilvy if I can.
Yep. Okay. Well, it'll probably take you most of the round to get there, but see how that plays into the action.
Yeah.
George, you see Hugh is suddenly lumbering in your general direction.
I'm going to back up.
Okay.
There's
All right.
distance between me and George to open the path for Hugh.
Yep. Okay. Well, you don't need to make a roll to do that.
And while I'm doing that, can I try to tear the card?
You can. You are very alarmed by the fact that no matter how hard you try, this thing does not tear. It is some sort of material that just will not tear. Ogilvy, though, does actually try to make a go at you with the prop sword, but misses. In the meantime, though, Hugh, do you want to actually give what would be a sensible role for tackling a grappling kind of thing? It's either a unarmed combat or a dex roll, whichever you prefer.
I'm going to give it a dex roll because I've got a slightly better chance.
Okay. All right. So you actually launch yourself into Ogilvy as he's kind of distracted trying to use his prop sword to strike at the retreating George Alexander. You manage to bring him to the ground. So you don't do any damage, but you've actually brought him to the ground. So you're sort of on top of him for the next round. Meantime, below stage, Bella, what are you doing?
Maybe just backing up and using the charger as a shield.
Well, so you back up and you're using it defensively. This thing, actually, it just picks up the head of Miles Jamison and turns around and starts to climb back up the stairs.
Ooh.
So, meantime, Rose, what are you doing? So you pulled down the backdrop. That was very successful.
Okay.
There's the peacock feathers and the side sets are the only things that are still standing now.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to turn those down, too.
Okay, so give us another strength. I'll give you a plus 20 on that because they're not that dirty. Not quite. So you pull at them, but you pull some peacock feathers free, but that's it. George, what are you doing?
I assume that Hugh isn't covering all of Ogilvy, right?
No, but he's got him down on the ground.
He's got him pinned, so I'm just going to stab him.
Yep, go for it.
Ogilvy, not Hugh.
Yeah. He's not quite held enough that you can. It is still going to be a combat roll, so he's not completely pinned. But do you want to make a luck roll to make sure that you don't hit Hugh as you fail in hitting Okay. All right. So you just swing wide so you don't actually hit Hugh. Now, Ogilvy is going to try to break that pin. So let me just. He only has base skill in unarmed combat, though. Yep, he fails to break the pin. So it's Hugh is still got an action.
Punch him square in the throat.
Go for it. Unarmed combat. Ah. Well, I would give you a bonus because he's held, but it's not that close, is it? All right. Below the stage, Bella, I mean, this thing is actually no longer a threat to you. So what are you doing?
I guess I hear yelling and stuff coming from upstairs. I don't really want to follow this thing up the stairs.
Yep.
I'm in pain. I've been burned. I think I'm just crying.
Good response. Okay. Up on the stage, by the way, you remember how I said a few rounds ago you could hear the sounds of policemen's whistles and stuff like that? Strangely, they seem to have fallen silent. Some of them were actually very abruptly kind of silenced in mid-whistle. So, and you could just hear snapping, rending kind of sounds, horrible abattoir kind of noises on the other side of the curtain. So, George.
I'm just going to step at his neck.
Let's just make that a dex roll. Because he's sort of partially kind of held down already, so I think he can't oppose it.
Damn.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so he wriggles free under your feet. So you try and stick their foot on his neck. Nothing happens. He will try to break the pin again. So let me see if he can do that. Oh, that's a fumble. So he basically flails around and knocks over a piece of scenery that actually hits him on the head and actually does him some damage. So a sandbag or something like that is actually kind of just poof, narrowly avoiding Hugh, but actually does some damage to him. So I'll just do 3 points of damage on him. So he's doing a better job at knocking himself out than you guys are.
Usually how it goes.
Okay, so but that does bring us to the top of the round again. Guessing that Bella is just still screaming heap at the bottom of the stairs or down the trap room. Rose, so you're going to have another go at the set, or you're going to go over and help the combat, or what would you like to do?
I'm going to try to keep pull on the feathers.
Okay. Yep, another strength roll. Yeah, that's good. All right, you pull the whole thing down. I think actually it's a good roll. So not only does the one set come down, but it's sort of like it knocks it over enough that it dominoes over to the other one on the same side. So clatter, 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 clatter. So the rest of you hear this almighty crash as all this set scenery come tumbling to the ground. George, your turn.
I'm going to step on him again.
Yep,
Attempt to...
go for it. Seems close enough. You don't actually achieve what you want to do, but you actually do get a good foot down on his clothing, so that's kind of helping him hold down a bit more sturdily. So it didn't get him, but it's got his cape, so he can't get up as easily. It's very, very flamboyant wearing a cape to opening night, but hey, it's the sort of thing you would do. Hugh, what are you doing? Punch again, or
Yelling for George to give me the blade.
you can probably reach out.
I want to stab him.
You can probably reach out and take it if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'll grab it and try and stick.
There you go.
Oh,
all right. So that's what is the damage with the prop sword? Is it 1d4 or 1d4 plus 1?
My character sheet says 1d6 plus 1, but I think that 1 comes from my damage bonus.
Okay, so 1d6 then, unless you may have a damage bonus too. I'm not sure.
I do have a damage bonus.
Okay, so 1d6 plus 1. Oh, 2. All right. Well, he is actually bleeding a little bit, so he looks like he's looking sort of somewhat damaged and bloodied by various things that have actually, smashed into him, but he's still looking like he's a man possessed. So he is going to try to break free again. Not very successfully, because you guys have got him held down pretty good. Okay. All right. I'm going to rule that basically he is immobile at this point. So probably neither George nor William could actually just, do the sticker thing in his eye, to put him out of his misery, because both of you are actually holding him down. But anybody else could. What's everybody doing?
I'm not sure. So they've already. So he's down.
Mm-hmm.
We dismantled the set. Trying to think what anyone else do any. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I will try to stumble towards the stairs that I came down originally, the side
The one.
stairs.
Yep. Okay. Yep. No, you can definitely do that. So you head back towards the non-cistern stairs up, and can easily make it up on the stage. We're not doing round by round because there's no real combat. Effectively, Ogilvy is pinned for now.
Does the monster show up on the stage?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? So that's a good question. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, thanks.
So as you're making your way up the stairs, you can hear that there's a creak on the other stairs, and Rose, you can actually hear the sound of something coming up the cistern. You look down and you can see this horrible monstrosity, which I think I need a sound roll from you.
I made it.
Okay, so you see this horrible monstrosity coming up towards you, though, with a severed head in its hands.
I'm gonna probably scream.
Yep. Okay. We've got Ogilvy held down. We've got this thing coming up. We've got Bella is coming up the other stairs, and we've got Rose screaming in alarm. So this thing, though, it looks kind of like it's on its own kind of trajectory of just wanting to actually get to the top of the stairs with this severed head. So it doesn't seem to be especially interested in you, Rose, at the moment.
That's good.
Bella makes it to the top of the stairs and back onto the stage. You can kind of take in all of the different things that are going. She comes up onto the stage at the same time as the creature comes out through the cistern, and Rose has taken a step back, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
So the thing actually seems to be walking across to the point on the stage where Herod's throne still is. Actually, it's empty, but the scenery's still there. So it's doing its own thing for the moment. What are you guys doing?
I lean into Ogilvy and I say very coldly, in truth, what you have done is a great crime. Just to play on one of my later lines in the play.
Very good. Chad, by the way, you're free to use the playing card again if you want, anytime you want.
Well, I mean, he resisted it, so I'm not necessarily going to.
Oh, no. He resisted it once. It's the same thing he's been doing to you over and over again.
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking maybe he resisted it once, but I'll try it one more time.
Okay.
Point the card at him, and is it just standard power times 5?
Yep.
Okay. No.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, it's just one point of willpower and 1 point of sand, but he's still held down. The creature's still got a minute or two of its little pre-planned kind of trajectory of across the stage to play out. So you guys are kind of stuck holding him down for the moment, unless you guys are going to change tactics.
No.
Bella's a free agent, and Rose is sort of a free agent, although she's kind of like screaming in terror. Or no, maybe she's not anymore.
I don't know, is there like a prop sword or something nearby?
There's loads of prop swords.
I'm gonna grab one and swing at the monster with it.
Go for it. No. It actually turns and ignores its pre-programmed path to actually attack back at you. It misses.
Oh, good.
What are you doing, Bella?
I seeing all these swords lying about, and Ogilvy did this to me. He did this to this theater. I just grab the nearest sword and just whack at him.
Okay, it'll take a round or so to get across. Maybe one more round between Rose and the Frankenstein thing, because that'll probably happen while Bella's actually doing her Braveheart impersonation and running across the stage. Oh, you succeeded. Cool.
Yeah.
What do you got in terms of damage? Prop sword, well, probably 1d6 for you.
1d6. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
3.
Okay. All right. Well, the thing takes a serious slash to its leg, which kind of like cuts one of its tendons. It falls to the ground screaming in agony, although it doesn't seem to be. It bleeds this horrible black ichor out over the stage. At the end of that round, Bella has pretty much made it to the other side of the stage. The thing is actually trying to attack back. It actually makes a connection of its talons as it rises in pain, and 8 points of damage to Rose, unfortunately.
8.
Yep,
Where are my hit points on this shit?
that can't be good though.
No, I have 2 left. Yeah, Rose looks very badly hurt.
Okay. All right. So next turn, effectively everybody's got to can act except for Ogilvy, who's still writhing around and said, "You fools! It's like you don't know what you are messing with. It's like you must allow the becoming to occur. My king calls. My king calls." So, is someone going to take a swipe at him, or?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, if George and Hugh are holding him down, I'm going to rule that Bella can just slit his throat with this. The thing's sharp enough. He can't move. He says, "EA, EA, the king has arrived," as he bleeds out. The other beast, by the way, is still going though. So what are you doing? Are you fleeing from it, Rose?
Yes.
Okay. It's not looking too good though. So yeah, so you run off. It's actually not moving very quickly because it's effectively cut one of its tendons of its leg. So you can actually easily outrun it, but it's obviously a bit of life left in it. So okay, so Ogilvy is no more. The glow on the other side of the curtain sort of fades to nothingness as the life ebbs from Jonathan Ogilvy's eyes.
Yay!
Okay, so what's anybody going to do? You're still seeing this horrible beast is actually
Do I
still.
have to make a sand roll for seeing this creature for the first time?
Yeah.
Not yet, because it's still off in the distance and the light's not that great. But if you're going to attack it, yes, you will. But if you are happy to live in the darkness, then no.
I am filled with bloodlust now. And run to Rose's aid and will
Okay.
slash at this beast.
All right, it looks like one good hit might actually be enough to dispatch this thing as well. So
Yeah.
that won't do it though. So it turns around though and fights back against you with its talons, which you've already felt once. Oh, double damage, critical.
Nice.
Let's see what we get.
Oh, not
Let's
nice.
see
I
what-
thought that was, yeah.
So that's 8.
Still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. All right, he's still badly slashed though. Okay. Phew. In the meantime, though, Rose, you're sort of limping away from it. Bella, you've been knocked back. What are the rest of you guys doing? You gonna go at this thing or dispatch
Yeah.
it? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Okay.
charge the thing.
okay.
I'm going
So
to level the card at it.
Oh, okay. Good idea. Let's have a
I
go
hit
at that. So you got your sword 1d6, Rose. Let's hope it's a good roll. What do we got, Rose?
Here I got a 1.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. The thing actually, it's not looking very good at all. It's actually kind of limping and wheezing. It doesn't actually look very mobile, but there's still a bit of life left in it. It might be beyond fighting back at this point, but it's definitely not dead. What are you going to do with it? Looks like a pathetic creature of some sort of mad scientist dream or creation. Although it's hard to feel sympathy given that it's almost killed 2 of you.
Yeah.
So what's everybody going to do? It's effectively immobile though. So if anybody wants to kind of take the prop sword and stick it through its eye, I'm happy to say that you can do that.
Yes.
I will. Do you want me to make a sanity roll?
If you haven't seen it before. All right. It's 1d10 though. I give you that as a warning. Is that not past your breaking point again? Let's see. Okay. Well, you obviously gone blind again, and you are screaming as a mess. But the thing is dead. So you actually did that. Put the prop sword through its eye. It falls lifeless to the ground, as Ogilvy did as well. And the stage is suddenly filled with this silence.
Silence is good.
Yep. The other actors are looking on. They've been sort of cowering from the side of the stage. The rest of the acting troupe. They come forward now and say, "Well, what manner of devilry has been on tonight?"
It was
Give up for
Ogilvy.
special effects budget.
Okay. So, what are you going to do? So they're all they want to just get out. The rest of the crew, the rest of the actors, so they sort of want to go off down to the dressing rooms.
Yeah,
Mhm.
send them on their way. I mean,
Yeah.
no reason for them to wait around.
Yep. So they're gone.
Yeah. Oh, exit stage, whatever. Closing
Okay.
soon.
So you can either go back through the curtain and out into the auditorium, or you can just go through a side out into an alleyway off to the side of the. What do you want to do?
Going out the side door.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna say that Isabella would wanna just crawl home. I'm almost dead.
Okay. Yeah.
1 hit point.
Oh.
I'm a bloody, barely moving wretch.
Yeah. Well, somebody might be able to give you some first aid, perhaps, if you
I have
wanted
10% in first aid. So.
or could make it worse.
I
I have 30.
I'm longing for Tristan.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
I have 30. I tried, but
Okay. All right. Okay. So you go outside the theatre. Even just going out to the alleyway, you can see that the street out the front of the theatre is a giant mess. Something has actually just cut a mad swathe through. Apparently, you can't really see what, but it's just abandoned. Like it's almost like there's hansom cabs that have been cast aside, horses that have been shredded by these massive razor sharp talons, just lying dead on the side of the road. That's just what you can see from the laneway.
So, is there just like a piece of wood lying around?
There's always a piece of wood lying around somewhere. It's Victorian London.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick up a small piece of wood, and say, Bella, do you mind? And I reach towards your wound, or one of them at least.
Yep. And Splint.
Dab up a little bit of blood on my fingers,
Yep.
right on the sign, right on the wood closed for renovations, and just stick it in front of the door.
Oh, very good.
We're done.
Almost. One last coda. So the streetscape when you actually go out to the front of the theatre, you can see that the place has just been the street has been trashed. Whatever was actually in the auditorium has actually gone back out into the street at some point and just cut this entire swathe. And let me just show you where this path of destruction lies. The actual direction of the devastation is this way. And you can kind of see that there's this entire pathway right towards Buckingham Palace has been just absolutely devastated by destruction. You can see in the distance, the palace itself is suffused by this golden light coming from every single window in Buckingham Palace. It's just glowing with this horrible yellow light as we fade to black.
this sounds familiar.
So is this where a yellow and unpleasant land came from?
Well, this is potentially a prequel to it, so yeah.
Music by Songs from a Tomb.